Aldi. Good different.
Well, a few weeks ago, both the Princess of Wales and actress Olivia Munn stunned the world by announcing that they have cancer. Both in the prime of their lives, sadly, they're not alone, with health authorities seeing an alarming rise in cases among younger people.
Now, in the past 3 decades, those in their 30s have seen an increase in cancers that normally appear later in life. So what's behind the sharp rise? And how can you best support someone and their families impacted by the disease?
And we welcome GP Dr Michaela Sorensen, plus clinical psychologist and Executive Director of Services from Canteen Australia, Sandy Cham. Nice to see you both. Michaela, we'll start with you. What types of cancers are appearing earlier and what's behind the increase?
So we're seeing a range of cancers increasing, so particularly the digestive ones, so gallbladder, pancreas, bowel, but we're also seeing an increase in uterine cancer and kidney cancers. In terms of what's causing it, isn't that the million-dollar question? I think we all wish we had the answer to that. We do know there's an increase in a lot of the universal cancer risk factors, so things like not moving as much, we're more sedentary, more processed foods, we're a lot more stressed than we've ever been, we're not sleeping as well as we used to, and we know that contributes to higher rates of cancer, but we're also looking into a whole range of newer environmental things like plastic exposure, radiation exposure, and we just don't know yet.
So we find when we hit our 40s and 50s and 60s, you are directed towards routine screenings, but you're not getting those directions younger. Is that the problem here?
Look, that is part of the problem, but we also need to be aware of the limitations of screening. So we only have screening tests for certain cancers, and they're cancers that have the ability to be detected before they actually develop into cancer and that we have effective treatments for. So we don't have that technology or testing for all cancers. We also have limitations to the health system. I think anyone that's been in an emergency department or tried to see a GP recently knows that the waiting lists are long and we just can't screen everyone.
Sandy, there's obviously no good time to be diagnosed, but you're a clinical psychologist. Can you touch on the impact it can have to be facing, your own mortality when you are younger?
Yeah, I think getting a cancer diagnosis at any age is deeply impactful, and with that changes the trajectory of your life. And for younger people, that's every area of their life, their home, their schooling, their education, their relationships. I think with that comes deep fear and uncertainty and also considerable trauma. The light side to that too is that it can sometimes also provide great clarity and focus about what's important to me, what do I value, how do I want to spend my time. And so it's that light and shadow side where it's a huge challenge and equally an opportunity to focus in on what gives life meaning and hope.
Horrible news to hear. What advice do you give to people when they have to talk this through with their families and their loved ones?
Yeah, Larry, it's the first thing to say to that is I know most parents just have this, great parental protective instinct, right? Protective instinct. We don't want to say anything to our children that's going to cause them harm. And needing to talk about cancer feels really scary and big. But what our families tell us at Canteen and our research is that families that talk openly, consistently and regularly about cancer adjust better and they have less distress. Our young people come to us saying that they need more information and they want to hear it from their parents. And so it's more just to trust that, to lean into it and to regularly chat through what's happening.
Michaela, sometimes younger people have symptoms, but they go sort of undetected or undiagnosed because they're not obvious. It's not the obvious explanation. So how important is it for people to know their own bodies?
It's so important. When you go and see a doctor, the doctor is looking at statistics, looking at data and looking at what is the most common, most likely scenario for this given person in this age group with those symptoms. But unfortunately, we're not like cars where you can just take out the computer and run the coding to see what's wrong. And everyone is individual and unique, and you know your body better than anyone. So if you feel like there's something not right, speak up. Or if they've given you a test or a treatment and it's not working, make sure you go back and you let the doctor know.
Yeah. Sandy, someone going through cancer may lose their hair, maybe out of the workforce or have to give up studying. What's your advice to a young person afterwards, after the disease, to get back on track?
Look, our young people have taught us time and time again that they know what they need, when they need it and how. And I think once you kind of move to life beyond cancer, it would be to trust that and to listen to that voice and to lean into what it is that you think you should be doing. And the second thing is just really about the power of connection, whether that be through celebration or challenge. Young people that connect with others who have gone through it, because it is a deeply unique experience to have cancer at a younger age. Connecting with those that just get it is probably the most powerful thing. So
Yeah.
connecting to community.
All right. Sandy and Michaela, thank you very much for your time this morning. We really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, at this point, we'd like to pause and remember a beautiful young man by the name of Felix Lauby, who sadly lost his fight with a rare form of cancer earlier this month.
Now, Felix appeared on this show just over 12 months ago, bravely sharing his story and raising much-needed funds for awareness for cancer in Australia.
I attended his memorial where Felix was described as selfless, compassionate, adventurous and just a little bit cheeky. Our thoughts are with his family, that's his mum and dad, his brother and his sister. And if you'd like to support Canteen's incredible work, we have the links over on our website. When I asked his mum if it was okay if we gave Felix a shout out, she said absolutely, it would be Felix's wish that we advance the work of Canteen, which did so much for him. And he loved doing work for Canteen.
We loved him
So
as well.
thank you.
Beautifully said, and lots of love to